It's the big show.
Yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Big Show is back. What's going on, y'all? Hello, world. Hello, world. Welcome to Pardon the Politics Podcast, Season 2, Episode 41. I am your co-host, Jeezy. I'm back, y'all. I'm back in the building. It's been a while. But I'm short this week. I don't have a co-host. I don't have a co-host, so I'm riding solo dolo on this show. So I guess to start the show off, I got to give you an ESPN update. So just so you know, brother Manny, who, first of all, Manny, much appreciated to you, brother, for checking in on me and my family as we welcome the birth of my baby girl, Corey. Brother, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for all my brothers, first of all, LXI, my family, everybody. But thank you for checking in repeatedly, constantly, that presence that you guys have given me in the long journey that we took to get my baby girl here. I am greatly appreciative of what you guys have done. But nonetheless, the homies are out. Brother Manny was upgraded, and then he was downgraded. Then he was upgraded, and then he was downgraded again to out. So our brother is still on the mend. So for our listeners, please keep Brother Manny in your prayers. I want everybody to know, because I know we get these updates and we joke and we, crack jokes about Manny. But Brother Manny is fine. Manny is not on death's door, knocking at death's door. He is not laying on his cooling board. For any of those that are wondering, Manny is fine. He's just recovering, from a procedure. But nonetheless, my brother is fine. He is healthy. I talked to him pre-show. And we talked over some things and had some conversations, and even, in the past weeks we've talked and everything. So I just want everybody to know, Manny is not on his deathbed. The pod is not losing my co-host. My brother is just recovering. And for our brother Chuck, Chuck was bitten over this past weekend by the Knock Nest monster. Or the Knock Nest, as we call it in our group. But Brother Chuck is not available this week as well, too, which, in all due respect, my brother has held the fort down for Pardon the Politics. And as you know, Brother Chuck has his own podcast as well, too. So he's holding that down amongst holding down us here with the recovery of Manny going on. So my brother not being available this week is no problem whatsoever, because he has overextended himself tremendously to make sure that we continue to bring this podcast forward. And I want to thank him also for the update that he gave I believe 2 weeks ago, when we were having our daughter's arrival, and I want to just thank him for the kind words that he said about my family. And yeah, man, life has been lifing. We're adjusting to having baby girl home, and it is definitely an adjustment. Having her here, the sleepless nights. If you're a present and active dad, as we all have stated that are a part of this podcast, we got to get up, the 2 or 3 hours with the wife when she got to feed the baby, and we got to change, and we've all took that blunder to the kitchen to warm up the bottle and the change, and diaper being put on wrong and all that good stuff. But nonetheless, we're adjusting. So please keep us in your thoughts and prayers as we continue to adjust. She is beautiful. She is gorgeous. Those of you that follow me on my social, you've seen my baby girl, and I'm just excited. I'm 3 of 3. I got 3 girls. So y'all pray for me as in my pockets as I adjust to being the king for the beautiful princesses that I have. So without further ado, welcome to our listeners to episode 41 of Pardon the Politics. And honestly, guys, there's been so much that's been going on in the world. I'm gonna be honest with you. The time that I took away to be with my family and to support my wife in the birth of our daughter, it was different being detached from politics for those 2 weeks, and that was intentional. I wanted to make sure that I was present and I was active, and amongst other responsibilities that I have, I just felt like being so engulfed in the political landscape and with everything that was so chaotic going on, I thought it was best. And it actually was quite refreshing. Almost made me feel like I was living in a normal world for once, or at least within this administration. But it felt good to detach, and but also I've kind of missed some of the attributes that come with the landscape that I have not been indulging in. So of course, my boy Donnie T. I miss my boy Donnie T, because he a fool. And the group chat's been keeping me update with some of the things that's going on, and Donnie T seemed to still be Donnie T. And in the midst of him being Donnie T, we still have a government shutdown going on. So I was hoping, honestly, that by the time I came back to the podcast, I was hoping that I was going to be wrong in my prediction. I believe that I said November the 11th when we had in previous episodes gave you guys our group chat predictions of when the pandemic was. Not the pandemic. Excuse me. The shutdown was going to end. I had the latest date at 11/11, and honestly, I thought it would go to that date, but I was hoping that it honestly wouldn't. But here we are currently. November the 3rd, and the shutdown is still going on. This recording is the day before, but you'll hear it on November the 3rd on its release. But the shutdown is still going on, and we are in a very critical position in this shutdown. For those of you that don't know, the shutdown began because Congress failed to pass the continuing resolution to fund the government after the previous funding expired. Now, the House, which is controlled by the Republicans, passed a clean CR that would fund the government until November the 21st. But as you know, Democrat senators have repeatedly rejected the House measure. And I believe that the last time, if I remember correctly, it's been rejected 13 times, according to some reports. Because the main thing, as we've talked about before with the shutdown, the stance that the Democrats are taking is that their stance is linked to their reopening of policy demands, which are centered around expansion of healthcare tax credits under the Affordable Care Act. You've seen, and we talked about it here on the podcast, that Senator Warnock has stated that the stance that he is at least taking, and what his Democratic colleagues are taking, are showing you where those premiums will be for healthcare if the Democrats do not take a stand. Now, the GOP side of this, and this is something that I've been bothered with before, is that the GOP side of this would rather reopen the government first and then deal with those other legislations after. So it's almost like, sign it now and we'll negotiate those other things later. But to me, I feel like that doesn't necessarily do the work of what you've been sent to Washington to do. I think that you should be negotiating now. But Senator Johnson has not allowed the House to come back in session, only simply because of this stance that they're taking. And I know that we talked about it in a previous episode, but who's to blame? Who's to blame in this? What side is feeling the pressure? And, when we talk about that, we got to play the blame game. We got to play the blame game. Who's at fault? Now, we've talked in previous episodes and we said that, hey, we can make an argument for both sides. But I think that there is pressure starting to mount against the Republicans that they may have to do something, in which, I'm not going to say, I hope this doesn't offend anyone. But I'm saying this because of the performance that they have had in previous times before, when it comes to government shutdowns and really, standing up for what they believe in. kudos to the Democrats for actually having a leg, I guess, for once. Before, it seemed that they were just, hey, we talked about how Chuck Schumer just took the deal, that the big beautiful bill, and he just didn't even try to fight against it. So kudos to the Democrats for at least putting up a fight, but this fight is certainly not coming without its real implications. The GOP, I believe, are starting to feel the pressure. It was reported that Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that there were numbers of discussions that were going on behind the scenes, and they had ticked up significantly, suggesting that while leadership remains far apart, lawmakers are talking behind the scenes about what actually to do. There is some divide coming from the GOP side to say, hey, we have to do something. And I think that is all really centered around something that has happened this past week. And what has happened this past week is SNAP benefits. 42 million Americans rely on SNAP. For those of you that don't know, SNAP means supplemental nutrition assistance program, or what people commonly know it as food stamps. 42 million Americans. If you do the math, that's roughly 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP. And I believe at the recording of this podcast, those funds have been disrupted. And I know that we talked about this on the podcast before, but I have often felt that, there has been support of one side or the other side based off of belief, but never truly off of feeling the real implications of what these individuals that we sent up to Washington are doing. It's easy to say that you support somebody, but when you don't feel the pressure, when you don't feel the heat of the kitchen, it's easy for you to navigate life as if these things don't impact you. And we have something that is real happening right now with 42 million Americans relying on a benefit that is being disrupted because of this government shutdown. So the sad part about this, well, there's two things I want to say about this that I think I'm gonna say the first one. I'm gonna say the nicer one first. I certainly believe that those individuals that are being impacted by the disruption of their SNAP benefits is a terrible thing. I believe it's a very terrible thing. We are going into a holiday month, and I believe we said it here on the podcast that the implications of what's going on are going to make for a very cold winter for a lot of people, because some of these decisions that have been made will start to be felt at home in the last 2 months of this year. You have benefits that are being disrupted, and this is Thanksgiving month. There's been conversation, and I believe that Trump has said that he's seeing what he can do legally to try to fund SNAP, which I want to stop there, because there's two things to this. One, I got to do it. But one of the things that I believe is that Trump wanted this to happen with SNAP so that he could seem like the savior of SNAP, to come back and I fed your families for this month. I fed your families. When you surround your table at Thanksgiving and you have food to put on your table, I want you to make sure that you thank God, thank whoever you serve, but to make sure that when you walk away from that table, before you say amen, you say, thank you, Donald Trump. It's almost the same behavior that he had with the stimulus checks. He didn't mind holding it up until it came to a point where he could put his name on those checks, and his effect happened. And it's almost just like it happened in his first term. The effect of it was people were walking around saying, "Oh, Donald Trump gave me a check." And I feel like this is the same energy that we're getting with what he's about to do with Snap. I did it. I got you food on your table. It was me. It was those Democrats. They didn't care about you. He's not even going to give credit to the Republicans. No, it was me. That's the type of energy I feel like Donald Trump is bringing to the table with this SNAP benefit issue. And certainly he could have urged, Mike Johnson to bring things back in session. Let's negotiate. Let's do something. But no, nothing's been done. And I think it's very funny that his concern is that, hey, with the benefits, let me see legally what I can do. Donnie T, you ain't never cared legally. How you did what you did.
Message.
Most of the stuff that you've done, that's why you keep ending back up in court and everything keep getting shut down with the Senate National Guard, the cities, and doing this with tariffs. It's because you legally don't operate within the structure of the law. But now all of a sudden, when it comes to feeding 42 million Americans, I'm consulting with the White House attorneys and officials to see what legally can we do. Okay, Donnie. All right. You got it. You already know what I'm gonna call that.
CAP.
Cat. But to the other point of that, we certainly shouldn't be, and it happens, and that's the gripe that I have with politics sometimes, is that we are playing with the American people's lives. I am not a beneficiary or a recipient of SNAP. I'm able to feed my family without the government assistance. And for those of you that are listening, this is not a knock to anyone. There are people that have living conditions and situations that just make certain things difficult for them. We are all fortunate for whatever life we have. And if we are not if we don't find ourselves needing that support, okay, that's fine. But we are all one situation, one circumstance away from being in a position where we need this assistance. So while I am grateful that I don't need the assistance to support my family, I certainly can empathize with those who do. And having this situation, this circumstance, hampering them from feeding their families is serious, and we should not be playing this game with the American people's lives. I am the PTO president at a school that has more low-income families than most, and the reality that some families don't, their children don't eat unless they eat at school. The reality that some people have just enough with food stamps. It could be a family of 4, a family of 5, a family of 6. They have just enough to feed their families and make it, hopefully, until the next disbursement of those SNAP benefits come. I've seen some families that whatever benefits they get, they got enough that'll last them 3 weeks. They got a week to find out what they're going to do before the benefits roll in again on that new first of the month. Now they're in a position where they don't know what they're going to get it at all. Because as you guys know, when it comes to the government, any disruption is not something that's just short-lived. The government being shut down today has weeks, months implications. Benefits. benefits not going out. It's not like, okay, they signed something and then, 5 minutes later, bam, your benefits drop back in, or there's a back pay in benefits. No, there's a lot of framework and infrastructure that goes into operating these things logistically. And when they are disrupted, it's just like a train. If a train sees a rabbit on the railroad, it can't just stop the brakes. It immediately stop. No, it takes a while, depending on how fast that train is going. Take up to a half a mile for that train to come to a complete stop. The government works the same way. When you bring that steamboat, that freight train, or you bring it at full force and then you stop it, it takes some time to start that back. So then what does that look like for the American people in November, December? What about the backlog of having, the office that handles all of these SNAP benefits, with the government cuts and people being furloughed? How does that look for them from a logistics perspective? Is there enough manpower to, once they come up with something for funding, or, once maybe the shutdown ends, how long will it take for them to be able to get those benefits back if they're shorthanded from government cuts? This is something serious. And while it may not impact you, be mindful that it does impact somebody around you. You'd be surprised about how many people are on SNAP. There are some people that are ashamed and hide it in secrecy that they are on SNAP, that they receive food stamps. Which leads me to my next point that pissed me off. This past weekend was Halloween. And on social media, I started to see this costume trend going around where there were white people dressing in blackface, black makeup, with food like chicken, talking about, I'm so glad my EBT came. And I said, hold on, wait a minute. First of all, why this hasn't been flagged? That's one. Two, it ticked me off because it led me to a conversation I had a long time ago with somebody. This is way before I even was into politics or anything. But when you look at the breakdown of people who receive SNAP, food stamps, the data that came from 2023, that's the latest data as far as I could go back. According to the USDA, guess what race of people take up the majority of SNAP benefits? For those people that wanted to make fun over the weekend on social media about black people who wanted to dress up in blackface and talk about, Lord, thank you, my EBT came. Let me remind you, or let me present you facts that 35.4% of SNAP benefits or recipients are white. And I remember having this conversation again, like I said, years ago with a gentleman, and we were talking, and, he said some things that were sideways, but, we handled it accordingly. You got people, you got people that are just ignorant, just, you got to charge it to their head and not their heart, but sometimes it's in the heart too. But I had to bring up some numbers to him, and I said, that majority of the people, or the largest group of people that receive food stamps, are white people. And when I showed him the data, he just was perplexed. He was just lost. In his mind, and in a lot of people's mind, they think that the only people that get food stamps is black folks. And I'm confused because where y'all get this notion from? Why do people think that black people are the ones that get the food stamps? They are the largest. They make up the largest group of people that get food stamps. Why do y'all think that? Like, what if somebody could let me know, please guide me and tell and show me where you saw and what data did you see that led you to believe that the majority of people that get these benefits are black people? Now, black people are the second largest group, but by a decrease of 10%. You got white people at 35.4, black African Americans at 25.7, Hispanic people 15.6, and this one shocked me, but Asian people at 3.9%. And hold on, pause. before anybody get mad. I have never seen, and I've been in grocery stores, I've worked at a grocery store, I have never seen an Asian person with food stamps. Sorry. I have never seen an Asian person with food stamps. So take that how you will. That number just shocked me. And then Native Americans, American Indian, Alaska Native were like 1.3%. And then, yeah. But to see on social media these people making fun of people not receive, for one, anybody not receiving it is not a joke. Not when this is due to the government shutdown and somehow Donald Trump has to legally do the right thing to make sure he can do what the American people are so desperately in need of. But also, you're making fun of it as if it's not affecting your people. Like, scratch that. Even if it is not a concern of your people, it's American people. We should be concerned if any American is not getting what they need from the government. But we're making fun of it. But I also want to let you know this. 39% of SNAP participants were children, and 20% of them are older adults. And 10% were non-elderly individuals with disabilities. So do you think it's funny that children can't eat? Do you think it's funny that the elderly aren't able to eat? Do you think it's funny that non-elderly individuals with disabilities, do you think it's funny that they eat? While you are blessed to not need the assistance of the government, that certainly does not give you the footstool to be boastful that you've been blessed to not need that assistance either. So I think that those of us that aren't receiving these benefits should be thankful and also be empathetic to those who may be suffering, because this will put a hamper on food banks, just distribution as a whole. We shouldn't want anybody to be hungry, certainly not during the holidays. We shouldn't make light of this. And if we can find the funds to pay the military, if we can find the funds to pay law enforcement, I believe that we can make two pennies rub together and do something to make sure that people can eat. Now, you may be listening and saying, well, Jeezy, the easiest thing is for the Democrats to just go ahead and open the government back. And that sounds like an easy solution. But all I'm going to say is this. Are we willing to trade the devil for the witch? If we open back up the government and we allow these funds to flow and everything goes back to what it needs to be, have you considered what are the consequences of what they are asking the Democrats to sign? What are the implications of those that depend on the Affordable Care Act? Think about that. If that wasn't an issue, and remember, for as long as the Affordable Care Act has been in place, nobody has been able to get rid of it or replace it with something that is better. This is just another way for them to do that. This is just another way for them to cripple that system. I'm not saying that system is perfect, but concepts of a plan haven't came forward for that program. But we know that what is in this the CR will hurt millions of American people. So while you may not have the benefits of the SNAP program right now, what is the much larger problem? What is the much larger fight that is going on right now? Yeah, you may can receive your benefits, but the medicine that your grandmother, your grandpa depend on is so outrageously expensive that you have no choice but to let them suffer. Was it worth it? Just think about that. When it comes time for what your aunt and uncle have paid in insurance is now quadrupled, was it worth it? Sometimes we can get so caught up with the fight that we forget the battle. And sometimes the battle can distract us so much that we completely forget that there's a war going on. We got to think about that. What I would implore you to do, if you are in a much better position and don't need this assistance, why don't you find somebody, find somewhere, someone that you can support? Why don't you donate to a food bank? Why don't you help a family with resources in the midst of it? Because technically, no matter what goes on in the government, we should be taking care of our neighbors, whether they're blue, red, Republican, Democrat, MAGA, non-MAGA, I guess. I don't know what do they call you if you're not a part of MAGA? Is it just a normal person? I don't know. But supporting one another. What I would love to see happen when these things occur in our country is that they would bring us together more than tear us apart. You have the White House that's releasing, oh, it's the Democrats, it's the Democrats, it's the Democrats. The other side, oh, it's the Republicans, it's the Republicans and the Republicans. You know who has the last say so other than God? We have the power as the people. Why not us as American people come together and support one another if we can, when we can? After all, that's what we should be doing, right? Caring for our neighbors. That's what we should be doing. Regardless of the fact, I think that a move is coming. Someone will have to do something. I think this shutdown came at the worst time. As we've said on this podcast, going into the holiday, that last stretch, Christmas. Look, we hadn't even got into Christmas. We talking about feeding families for Thanksgiving. We talking about not even Thanksgiving. Screw that. We're talking about folks just eating. Period. Just a regular day eating. If this thing continues to drag on, what is Christmas gonna look like? What is Christmas gonna look like? And if he finds the funding to fund SNAP this month, there is no guarantee that it'll be funded next month. It's tough. For those of you that are struggling, For those of you who may be impacted by this, I'm sorry. You probably feel like your government has failed you. You probably have lost hope. And a lot of people feel that. They've lost hope in government, which is sad, but it happens. My thoughts go out to you. My thoughts go out to these children that will be impacted, to the elderly, to those that are disabled. And I hope that this thing will come to a head before it's too late. I think that the Democrats and the Republicans need to come together and get a deal done. Period. In a deal, nobody gets 100% of what they want. You're not. But when you are negotiating on the behalf of the lives of the American people, you have to have that into consideration. Who are you doing it for? Yourself? The people that line your pockets? Your constituents? Your ego? Your reputation? Who are you doing it for? And I'm going to move on, but I want to say this. I saw a map this week that laid out the states that get the most SNAP benefits. And Mike Johnson, you got a problem, brother. Because Louisiana, one of the highest states that receives SNAP benefits. So then what message, Mike Johnson, are you sending to your people? Because you got a lot of folks that's going to be hurting in Louisiana. This is your state that is being impacted. But you won't bring it back. You won't negotiate. That's not how this works. They even talking about getting rid of the filibuster. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Donnie T picking all the options but the right option. It's not gonna work. Hopefully by the next time we record, the government won't be shut down. But I got a feeling, y'all, we might be in for a long haul. But it sounds like there's some rumblings on the GOP side, so we will see. But until then, the government is shut down. Government shut down. So we'll keep you updated. My thoughts and prayers are with you. My prayers are that you endure. But to those that you send in Washington, let them know how you feel. Don't hold back. Let them know. Donald Trump already gave you Chuck Schumer's number. Call them. Call your call your representatives and let them know how you feel. So far with the poll numbers, it looks like that a lot of Americans are not feeling this. And it seems like the blame is being put on the Republicans and Democrats, and we'll see. I think we'll definitely see when midterm elections come around. So hopefully something will happen sooner than later, but we'll see. So that is my thoughts on the government shutdown and the disruption of SNAP benefits. At this time, I'm going to move along and go to a segment of our show that I hold dearly, and that is our Pickle of the Week.
We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle. We've got your pickle.
All right, y'all. All right. This week I got a special treat. Since I'm by myself, I couldn't let... Never mind. I was about to say something. I was going to have to do a political pause on it. Never mind. I got two pickles for you this week. Let me say it like that. I got two pickles for you this week. The first pickle. Somebody got evicted. Somebody got evicted this past week, y'all. And that pickle of the week goes to none other than Prince Andrew, the Duke of, I don't know if I guess he's not a Duke. Well, I know he's a Duke of fan.
He a fan. fan, he a fan.
But Prince Andrew got evicted by his own people. And it seems like they done with him. The reports say that he was evicted from this $37 million Royal Lodge mansion and has been officially stripped of the remaining privileges and titles that he's been clinging to since his infamous ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the palace apparently had enough of the bad press, and the king isn't sparing family when it comes to the monarchy's image. Andrew's been told to vacate, and that his time as His Royal Highness is officially in the past tense. So, what's next for the fallen prince? Well, it's been rumored that he is relocating to a smaller estate. But, hey, you know, when you royal, a smaller estate to him is like, you know, the life for us. But it's small in terms of, in royal terms. So he probably still got chandeliers and about 12 servants. So, but you know, his past few years have been spent denying allegations and dodging cameras and ducking responsibilities. So I think, honestly, congratulations, Prince Andrew, because while you may not have a crown anymore, you certainly got a crown over here as being crowned the pickle of the week. So, you know, I think it was about time. I think it was the right move. And yeah, good luck at your smaller estate. And hopefully them Epstein files don't come for you, because we know that the people are not, we are not letting up. We want them files. But my second pickle is one that caught me off guard this past week. This pickle finds itself in the Epstein house. Lord Epstein, in the Vance household. Now, JD Vance made some headlines this past week for more ways than one. Because I'm going to let you know right now. My wife knows that I'm a people person. I love to talk to people. I love interactions with people. But if I walked on an event and the woman who introduced me hugged me the way that Erica hugged JD Vance, oh, my wife about to have a problem. But that's a topic for another day. But comments had surfaced that during the event that JD said in regards to his wife that he hopes that his wife becomes a Christian one day. And Usha Vance, who we all know has or if you didn't know, she has a Hindu background. I'm sure this didn't land him the Husband of the Year award for releasing that. Saying that, you know, he hopes that she comes around to being a Christian. And I'm not saying that it's wrong for him to think that. Because certainly I'm a Christian as well. And I would hope that, you know, of my faith, that if my wife was not a Christian, which she is, I would hope that too. But I think that to me is probably something personal you shouldn't say in front of thousands of people, that you hope that she'll come around, regardless of what you believe in. As I stated, I'm a Christian, but I certainly have respect for whatever your faith is. I don't believe in disrespecting anyone because of what they believe in, but I kind of felt like he kind of low-key disrespected Usha. So you kind of disrespect your wife with that hug with Erica, and then you get up there and you start talking about how you hope she come around. And you know, I think that's probably a conversation that needs to be kind of had behind closed doors, or it should probably have already happened, being that you guys have been married and had kids already. But certainly, Usha, you might want to be careful. We might have to pray for Usha. And pray that the hedge of protection will surround her, because there's been some talks on the socials. They saying that, hey, the government got Charlie out of here, and now they saying that They might get Usha out the way so they could make the pairing of JD and Erica for 2028 presidential campaign. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying that that's my tinfoil and I'm wearing it. I'm just telling you what I see on the socials. I just report what I see on the socials. That's what everybody's saying from the tinfoil hat community. They said it might be something here. We might need to make sure that we keep an eye on Usha just to make sure that nothing don't happen. Stranger things have most definitely happened. So we definitely want to keep an eye on it and make sure that she is good and well, because we don't want nothing to happen. She seems like a nice lady, very accomplished attorney, may I add too. So yeah, JD, maybe we keep that conversation behind closed doors, bro. You know, we don't need to know that. We don't need to know that. We hope that she would too, but we don't need to know that. Have that conversation with your wife and tell Erica stop grabbing the nape of your neck like that, because we all know as men what that means when that happened. So. But with that being said, guys, we have reached the end of our episode. And you guys know at the end of the episode, we always give you a spotlight to carry over in the week. So the spotlight that I want to give you is we should keep our eyes on this U.S.-China space race. This thing is heating up. And from what it sounds like, China's in the lead. And it was reported at a Senate hearing, the U.S. was warned that it is in real danger of losing the moon race to China. Now, this is something we need to keep an eye on because SpaceX, which is Elon Musk, and Elon, this almost got you in a pickle this week, but I'm gonna wait and hold out and see what happens. But SpaceX holds a $2.9 billion contract from NASA to use its spaceship rocket system to land astronauts on the moon as part of its Artemis 3 mission. But NASA is now signaling that it may open the contract up to competitors because Starship development is delayed, meaning that Musk and SpaceX might get cut out of the upcoming moon landing scenario. So this is pretty big. This is pretty big. And I think in the climate of where we're at globally, certainly the U.S. does not want to play second fiddle to China in something that we have seen of this magnitude. This certainly, with everything going on with tariffs to, just globally, the partnerships and the trade that China has, and where we talked about before in the past, where the U.S. may have pulled out of certain things like U.S. aid, where that could allow a certain space for countries like China and Russia. If the U.S. was to lose the space race, it could be very dampening to who and what we are on the global stage, because we would all and remember, now granted, the U.S. is the most powerful nation on the planet, but certain moves start making you think we might have to put an asterisk on that. And I think that certainly how we handled, and if this wasn't something major, we wouldn't be doing, NASA wouldn't be doing this. If this was not a priority, or not even priority, just something that we cared about or saw as something that was of importance to us as a nation, we certainly wouldn't be looking to open up the contract to competitors to hopefully speed up our process or catch up to where China is. So that's something that we should keep an eye on, how we respond to that, and what that looks like for Elon. Because certainly I can't believe that that's something that would make him happy whatsoever, for him to lose out on that contract with NASA. So with that being said, that is my spotlight of the week, and this is the conclusion of season 2, episode 41. I know this is different, with just having me as your co-host. As me and Manny talked in pre-show, something might be going on where the feds might be trying to let me play the Feds might be trying to dismantle the podcast because it seemed like we've been struggling to try to have all of us together at one time. But nonetheless, we're gonna keep fighting to keep doing what we need to do. I feel great being back. Again, I know this was a different setup than what you guys are used to, but I am grateful that you tuned in. Hopefully next week we'll be back to our normal flow. And yeah, I just want to thank you just for tuning in. You could have just got on and pause. You could have tuned in and just heard that it was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just come back next week. But I appreciate you lending me your ears for the duration of this episode. As we always say here, if don't nobody love you, just know that the boys here at the pod, we love you. We're grateful for our listeners. Shout out to all of our listeners, both domestically and our international listens. Shout out to you as well, too. And I just hope that this episode finds you all in the best place possible. And if not, I just pray that that you are able to endure and find some joy and peace in something. You'd be surprised in the climate that we live in. So just to see the simple smile of a child is a lot. And I say that because that has definitely what has given me the drive to go through and a lot of exhausting days and nights, but to see my newborn baby girl in that bassinet and she just does a little smirk, that gives me just a little extra juice just to continue to try to press on through the day. So hopefully you find that little smirk in your life. And if not, I just pray that you're able to get what you need so that you can find it. So with that being said, all hearts and minds are clear. Again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you at the next episode. Take care, world.